The 2026 Ford Mustang Dark Horse is not so much a car as it is a sentient metallic deity forged in the molten depths of Detroit's last remaining V8 volcano, summoned from the engine bay abyss with an ancient ritual involving burnt rubber, 3 cans of Monster Energy, and the national anthem played backwards through a twin-tip exhaust pipe. And while Ford claims it's street legal, let's be honest, this thing looks like it was designed by a group of caffeine-addled engineers who got locked inside a wind tunnel with only Fast and Furious movies and a Ouija board to keep them company, because the exterior design is so aggressively aerodynamic that it reportedly broke the sound barrier while parked and once sliced a passing hummingbird clean in half, wearing a paint job called Shadow Venom Eclipse, that literally cannot be photographed. Every time someone tries to snap a pic, the image comes out blurry, corrupted, or replaced by a bald eagle holding a wrench, and underneath the hood, if you dare to open it, which requires authorization from NORAD and a retinal scan, lies a naturally aspirated 5.2L V8 engine that doesn't run on gasoline but instead inhales pure American testosterone, screams like 1,000 angry bald eagles during startup, and exerts a gravitational pull so intense that nearby Priuses begin to orbit it and cry synthetic tears. And while official figures suggest it produces over 500 horsepower, independent dyno tests have been inconclusive since every testing rig mysteriously catches fire or ascends to the heavens mid-pull, with engineers claiming that the torque output is measured not in pound-feet but in seismic events. And speaking of torque, the Dark Horse doesn't just deliver it, it throws it at the pavement like a pissed-off Greek god hurling thunderbolts at unsuspecting Toyotas, using a 6-speed manual transmission forged from the swords of fallen warriors and dipped in oil extracted from the shattered hopes of failed supercars, paired with a clutch pedal so beefy it requires a leg day at the gym just to shift into second. And while the automatic version does exist, legend has it that those who choose it hear faint whispers of Carroll Shelby's ghost saying, "Coward," every time they tap the paddle shifters, which themselves are made from compressed carbon fiber and NASCAR steering wheels and provide such immediate response that one driver accidentally shifted into 5th gear just by thinking about it. And as for the exhaust system, well, it's not an exhaust system. It's a sonic obliterator crafted from demon horns and leftover SpaceX rocket tubing, tuned to a pitch that rattles fillings, causes neighborhood children to salute spontaneously, and has been officially banned in 4 countries and 2 time zones. And while the car technically comes with a muffler, engaging it requires solving a Rubik's Cube in under 30 seconds while blindfolded, which means no one's ever done it, which means the growl of the Dark Horse is as loud as it is unapologetic, so loud in fact that one test driver reportedly lost their sense of shame and now only communicates through throttle blips. And moving on to the interior, it's less of a cabin and more of a battle station, with Recaro seats so aggressively bolstered they qualify as full-contact sports equipment, upholstered in midnight leather made from cows that only listen to classic rock and ran free on racetracks, with contrast stitching that glows slightly under moonlight and emits a faint humming noise when you're pushing more than 7,000 RPM, while the dashboard isn't digital, it's augmented reality, projecting gauges into your retina via micro lasers that also monitor your pupil dilation to determine if you're worthy of full horsepower, and the infotainment system runs on an OS developed by a breakaway sect of Elon Musk's neural engineers who got tired of Tesla's being quiet and decided that music should only be played if the volume knob causes actual G-force changes in the cabin, featuring Spotify integration, Apple CarPlay, and an option called Track Mode, War Cry, that replaces all audio with vintage NASCAR engines. And yes, it has wireless charging, but it only works for devices with more than 1 terabyte of RAM because anything less overheats under the sheer coolness of the Dark Horse aura. And if you think safety was overlooked, think again. This beast is equipped with 18 airbags, including 2 designed specifically to deploy in case of ego inflation, and a lane-keeping system that instead of nudging you back gently, delivers a motivational quote from Vin Diesel and temporarily increases horsepower until you correct your line, while the suspension is adaptive, predictive, and slightly clairvoyant, learning your favorite corners and adjusting damping based on the phase of the moon and how aggressively you stared down that last Camaro at the stoplight. And the wheels, oh, the wheels. They're forged from meteorite fragments and engraved with runes only visible under UV light, wrapped in tires so sticky that NASA once asked if they could borrow a set from Mars rovers to climb Olympus Mons, and they come standard with brake calipers the size of your regrets, finished in aggro red, and capable of bringing the car to a dead stop so fast your future self arrives a second later, slightly confused but grinning. And as for aerodynamics, the rear wing alone is adjustable via thought command, though only if your playlist includes AC/DC, and the front splitter has its own zip code due to its aggressive stance, scraping the souls of the indecisive as you pull into gas stations that shake with anticipation. Because yes, the Dark Horse still drinks premium fuel like a Viking Downs mead. and it does so proudly, returning roughly 12 miles per gallon, which is the only measurement that matters when you're piloting what Ford has described as the last true muscle car before the robots take over. And while pricing starts at something in the ballpark of mortgage adjacent, the base model includes a commemorative gear knob shaped like a piston, a custom leather jacket that smells faintly of victory, and a 37% chance of spontaneous thunderclouds forming overhead whenever you drive it under 50 miles per hour. And let's not forget the trunk, which is deceptively large, capable of holding a full drum set, 6 bowling balls, or your crushed expectations after realizing no other car will ever feel this raw again. And if that weren't enough, every Dark Horse comes with a plaque on the dash inscribed with the words, "Live Loud, Die Sideways," and a small button marked, which when pressed, initiates a hidden, rampage mode, that makes the gauges go red, the stereo play Kid Rock on loop, and the rear tires erupt in smoke regardless of your speed. But this mode should only be used if you're prepared to instantly lose 40% of your tire tread and 100% of your legal immunity. And yes, of course, the Dark Horse is faster than your cousin's Hellcat, quicker than your dad's Corvette, and cooler than your uncle's Harley. And no, it doesn't need to prove it, because the moment you fire up the ignition and hear that hellish growl echo off the trees, every living thing in a 2-mile radius already knows exactly what just happened. A new legend has awakened, forged not from spreadsheets and focus groups, but from pure unfiltered chaos, distilled V8 magic, and the soul of every burnout ever laid down in a strip mall parking lot. And that, my friend, is the 2026 Mustang Dark Horse, the car that doesn't ask for respect, doesn't beg for attention, doesn't care about trends, indefinitely, absolutely, unequivocally, does not whisper, it roars, and you either hold on tight, or get the hell out of its way.